Hi, I hope you're all well and safe. Today, we will be studying a Mishnah from the Mishnayos, which is part of the Talmud. The Talmud is usually referred to the Mishnayos and the Gemara. So, we're going to have some tips of wisdom from the Talmud. Pirkei Avos, the ethics of our fathers, which we read on the Shabbos, and many communities read it between Pesach and Rosh Hashanah. And this coming Shabbos, we read chapter 5. So we'll discuss chapter 5, Mishnah 7. Shiva dvarim begoylam v'shiva bechacham. There are 7 things, 7 traits possessed by the unrefined, by the unwise person, and 7 by the wise. A chacham, a wise person, eine medaber l'fnei misha gadol mimenu bechacham u'b'minyan, which the Medrash Shmuel explains it to mean that a wise person does not speak before someone wiser or older than him. He does not rush to be the first to offer an opinion. Rather, he waits until the wiser or older person have spoken, and then, only after that, might speak if he feels he has something to contribute. So the Medrash Shmuel translates lifnei before. The second trait is he does not interrupt his fellow's words. That's a simple thing. You have a conversation, let the other person finish his sentence. Don't interrupt the other person. Number 3, he does not rush to answer. Listen to the question first. Listen well. Listen to the person's facial expressions as well. Sometimes people ask the same question, but the answer could be a little different. Sometimes a person asks a question from a philosophical standpoint. Sometimes a person asks the same question from an emotional standpoint. He or she is hurt. Something is bothering them, etc. Sometimes the same question asked by different people require a little bit of a different answer. There's not necessarily one size that fits all, one answer that fits all. So listen well, and then answer. Think about the question, and then answer. Rav Moshe Almashnino gives a very interesting insight over here. He does not rush to answer. He says sometimes when your child asks you a question, your student asks you a question, and you mumble the answer right away, you knew it on top of your tongue, you knew it off your cuff, you're making the person feel not smart. You ask such a simple question, I answer you in a second. You could hurt, this is very wise, you could hurt the other person's feelings unintentionally, subconsciously. But the person said, I asked such a stupid question. I asked such a simple question. My father, my mother, my teacher was able to answer it like that. I feel not smart. Next time they might be reluctant to ask a question. So take some time, think about the question, make the question, the person asking the question feel important, and then answer. Number 4, he asks what is relevant to the subject matter and replies to the point. You're discussing a certain subject, you're learning a certain subject, ask those questions that are relevant to the subject. Reply to the point, don't go around the point. If you know the answer, you have an answer, answer the point. If you don't know the answer, we'll see soon, don't go around the point. We'll see soon what happens if you don't know the answer. Number 5, he speaks of first thing first and last thing last. Says the Batanura, if a person means to say, if a person asks you 2 questions, you answer them in the order they were asked. You answer the first question first and the second question second. Number 6, concerning that which he has not heard, he says, I have not heard. Says the Rambam, he does not pretend to know more than he does. If you don't know, say you don't know. It's also an answer. If If you don't know, don't make up an answer. Don't guess. Don't. Rashi, one of the greatest Jewish sages of all times. Rashi, one of the great commentators of the Torah and the Talmud and Tanakh. Perhaps the greatest commentator. Definitely one of the greatest sages of all times. Rarely, but sometimes he writes, Eini Yedeya, I don't know. If Rashi could say, I don't know, me and you for sure can. Number 7, he acknowledges the truth. You're having a discussion with someone, back and forth, and you see the other person is right. Okay, acknowledge it. I'm wrong, you're right. Worse things can happen in life. It's okay. Says the Rambam, even if he can continue to defend his position with logical arguments, don't do that. Acknowledge the truth. If you're so brilliant and sharp and witty that you could somehow wiggle yourself out of and somehow mix the other person up and so you don't come out the loser, quote unquote, of the argument, you might be sharp, but you're not wise. A wise person, a chacham, searches the truth, seeks the truth. And if you see that the truth is in someone else's opinion, acknowledge it. It's okay. So this is all a wise person. What's about an unwise person, a goylam, an unrefined person? The opposite of all these traits are possessed by the unrefined. So, the Torah calls the Jewish people Am Chacham V'Novin. The Torah, the Bible itself, the Teres Meisha, the Jewish Bible, the true Bible, calls the Jewish people Am Chacham V'Novin, a wise and understanding people. Let's act that way. Let's learn these wise tips from our sages, how to live and act wisely. Thank you for listening. All the best.